The day I learned about cancer was on my 13th birthday, and it wasn't me. It was our mom. Her name was Jean. She was 33, healthy, hardworking, raising 2 young daughters on her own, working as a full-time secretary, and she didn't have a single risk factor for cancer. Never smoked, never drank, and yet 2 weeks after a routine dental visit, she was hospitalized. And on that day when I was expecting a celebration, our poor grandmother, in her own saddened and shocked way, had to break very difficult news. Your mother won't be coming home for a while. She's very sick. She has cancer. And I asked what kind of cancer, expecting her to name some body part. And instead, very quietly and tearfully, she said, terminal.
And I was only 8 when all this unfolded. And as any 8-year-old, I was living in the moment. You know, Grandma took me aside and she said, "Your mom has cancer, but everything is going to be okay." You know, what do you tell an 8-year-old, really? And so the plan was, Mom was going to be okay. And I never thought, through all the long months of taking care of her deteriorating body, that she would never be there. Of course she was going to be there. And I don't think it was until the moment that I zipped up that black, thick bag containing her cancer-ridden body that it occurred to me, Mom might die.
I knew she was young when she died, and it wasn't until I was 35 myself with 2 young girls and recognizing just how young she was and how frightened she must have been at the thought of leaving her 2 daughters.
You know, I think what haunts me the most as a mother myself is thinking about the pain and suffering she must have gone through, knowing that she was leaving her girls to uncertain and unknown circumstances. You know, when I think back on it, I think that must have been far more difficult to go through that emotional pain than any of the pain that cancering caused.
To manage her anxiety when she was alone and afraid in the dark at night with her worries, she kept a notepad where she wrote all of the thoughts and the counsel and the advice that her 2 young daughters might need throughout their lives. And in that, she begged God for forgiveness for being an unwilling spirit who did not want to leave her daughters.
You know, our lives really unraveled from that point in time. You know, I moved in with Grandma and Grandpa, with Mom, so that we could take care of her over that time. But while we took care of her at 13, you lived in our house alone for several months until foster care could be arranged. You know, our lives just never became the same. And we just never really had security, and things were disrupted from that point forward.
Being a teenager is a turbulent time, but especially for those who undergo extreme loss and disruption. And we're standing here 4 decades later, able to share a survival story around cancer because we were lucky, not because we were brave, not because we were prepared or we were determined. Our lives have defied the circumstances, the statistics of our circumstances. So many things could have gone wrong, so many people making so many different decisions for us. It is only because of the clarity of our mother's parenting and the advice that she gave us in those very short years. If it had not been for her values, things could have been very different for us.
Definitely, Mom left us with a firm foundation and 12 pages of beautifully handwritten wisdom. You know, she gave us some really solid advice on selecting a husband.
For heaven's sakes, girls, try to find an intelligent, ambitious, kind, patient, considerate, thoughtful sweetheart who has his head on straight and his act together. If you have to compromise, fudge a little bit on the first 2 ingredients, intelligence and ambition.
You know, then she also left me some super solid advice when it comes to dealing with you. She said, stay close to Shawna, but don't bug her too much over the next few years. By the time you're 16 or 17, you'll be able to communicate a little bit better. It may take Shawna till she's 21 or 22, though she's a little funny that way. Always been ahead of her time and may feel like you just haven't caught up yet. Mom was right. I still haven't caught up. Give her some time and give her the space she needs.
Losing a parent at an early age and taking on the responsibilities of the adult world has profound and enduring influence. It manifests itself throughout a lifetime, and it unfolds in significant ways and in subtle ways. And I wish I could tell you that our story was unique, but across this country, in every classroom, there is a child who has a story that will break your heart. And they suffer quietly, and they're fearful because the people around them don't know, and they don't know what to do.